Hey everyone, this is a video guide to using ocean ravines in Minecraft speedruns. These ocean features have been pretty much ignored for a while, but with new changes to new strats and different tech, we found that these ravines are actually a pretty reliable and fast way to enter the nether. So this video is going to go over a few different portal making methods and some things to look out for in these ravines. Um, with newer strats, newer pirate or ocean-based strats, it's pretty common to have 3 doors in your inventory. They're very useful underwater, and they only take 6 planks. So my favorite method that I've come up with uses doors, and I think it's one of the fastest and more resource-efficient methods. So the first one we'll look at is called the 3-door portal. So this method takes about 20 seconds or less, which is pretty on par to making a portal from surface lava pool. It takes anywhere between 1 and 3 doors and uses 2 to 4 of any type of block. And that's about it. So we'll slow it down and I'll go over the different steps of making this, and then after that we'll talk about more complicated designs if the ravine can't be used to make this portal type. So the first thing about building this door portal in the bottom of a ravine is being able to identify the correct configuration of blocks that allows us to do this the fastest. These two configuration of 5 blocks is what we're looking for. We want magma blocks in an L shape, and then we want 2 obsidian blocks on either side. In this example, I have a configuration that works either way. We could do this left, or we could do this from this way going right. The first thing you're going to want to do is break one of these side blocks, and you do not want to be directly over the magma. If you're holding shift, you won't take damage on top of magma, but if you're directly on top of this when you mine down, it will wedge you into the obsidian below and suffocate you. So you want to be off of the magma first, mine it, it mines pretty quickly underwater, and then you put your door down. If you have another door, you put it here, and then your remaining blocks you put here and here. And this gives us access to the lava below. These 2 lava blocks, lava sources, are critical that we get these out of the way because these are in the portal frame, and so we don't want those turning to obsidian. The same goes now for these 2 blocks on the side, and the 2 lava sources on the bottom. Those are also part of our frame, so we want to take from the back. So we can go here and here. If you have another door, you can place it here. Another block works fine. We want to mine here, and now the only water source in this portal frame is this upper left one. If you have a door here and you're not holding sneak, you will just open the door. So you want to crouch or grab from here. Once this water source is taken away, we still need to mine these 2 blocks. So what you can't do, if you're really fast, take the water away, mine the blocks. If what I do most of the time, I'm not fast enough, so I mine these first, maybe just one, take the water away, and then mine the other one, and the water will slowly drain, and then you have your portal. Now, let's just say, for example, that our ravine is kind of short, and we can't find the perfect configuration, but we do see a configuration of the L magma, but then there's one here that should be an obsidian, but it's a magma. We can still do the same thing, we just have one extra step, because this is now part of the portal frame, and we'll have to replace it. So we do the same thing as before. We do this and this, pull from the back. But now we're going to have to replace this with lava and then pull water from somewhere else to replace it. If you pulled your lava sources from the back wall, these will actually be easy to access, and you could just pull lava from anywhere here, replace it, and then use water, and you have a working portal. So there's a slight little change when you only have 1 or 2 doors. You just need a few more blocks to replace the positions the doors would normally be in. The big change happens right there when you have to place that 1 block to get the top of the portal frame, but other than that, the build is pretty much the same. So it takes maybe a second or so longer, but still pretty quick and efficient. So this method uses 2 fence gates instead of doors. This method was developed by Fyro. I'm not super great at this one. It does take a bit more wood to get the fence gates, and the fence gates can be a little awkward at times. But it's fairly straightforward, and it's just as fast as the door portal method, and you only need 2 magma blocks side by side. You can make a door portal using just 2 magma blocks side by side in Ravine if that's all you had. This method is a bit slower So this is only if you don't have enough wood to make fence gates and you only have 2 magma blocks in ravine. You could do it this way. It's a little bit awkward because you have to clear out the center and you have to get 3 doors and 2 blocks to block off the entire portal. You have to make sure the water drains here, and then you have to replace that one obsidian on the bottom. But if worse comes to worse, this is about a 30 to 40 second portal build using 2 magma blocks. So there's another issue you can run into in making these portals. All the examples so far have had at least 2 layers of lava source blocks below the obsidian. Sometimes if you're in a small ravine or one that's close to the side, you'll only see this one deep lava. In that case, you just have to break the 2 blocks on the very bottom and replace them with lava you find on the side of a portal. Every once in a while, you also see one of those bottom blocks down there in the corner. You'll have to replace with lava as well. But it's still a pretty quick and efficient way, so definitely worth it. This last build is a flintless portal design. If you can find a configuration of magma blocks where you have those 2 extra magma blocks above where you would normally build a door portal, you can actually put a bunch of planks on the other side and hope that they catch on fire from the surrounding lava and light the portal without a flint and steel. It's pretty rare in a pirate strat run to not have enough iron to get a flint and steel, and it's also pretty rare to find a good configuration of magma blocks that can do this. But in the off chance it does happen, you can actually do an underwater flintless portal like this. You want to change your difficulty to hard so that fire spreads a little faster, and I expect this is kind of an unoptimized build. Maybe one of those wood planks should be an air block so that fire can catch and spread there. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't done too much work on it. It does take a while to light, but just so you know, it is possible and it will light. I wanted to make a quick mention of bad ravines that you'll run into. You'll run into a lot more higher elevated ravines or bad ravines than good ones. A lot of the times you'll have not that much obsidian or magma to work with. I found there's 2 okay options at this point. You could put a door down and start digging into the sides of these ravines. You'll often hear lava pretty close. These ravines are at Y10 or Y11 usually, these lava pools. And so just digging straight sideways and trying to find an underground lava pool is actually a pretty good idea too. Alternatively, if you see some cave offshoots over here, these are also at a perfect Y height where you could probably find a lava at the end of these. So it's personal preference whether you try to spend more time looking for the perfect ravine, or if you just see any old ravine, you can jump into it and see if you can make it work. I've got one trick for you this time, and it has to do with finding these ocean ravines a little easier. If you've done some of these ravines in the past, you've probably noticed some of them have these floating kelp items on top of the ravine. And there's a specific reason this happens, and I'll teleport myself to a spot where this happens right away so you can hopefully see it. So basically, if gravel or sand generates above a ravine, sometimes it'll have this kelp growing on it. And as soon as you render this area in, the gravel will fall and the kelp will slowly float to the surface. So this is a decent indicator that there is an ocean ravine here. This also happens with ocean ruins, so kelp doesn't necessarily mean 100% there's a ravine here, but if you're in deep ocean, it's a pretty good indicator. So you want to be looking for kelp far away. Not every ravine is going to have this, but when you do see kelp this far out, it's probably a ravine. You can start to see it's a little bit harder to see it from this distance. It's not super obvious. One thing you can help to do this is turn your hitboxes on in the ocean. The items have this little blue indicator of where they're facing, so this makes it a lot more obvious. You'll only see squids, maybe some dolphins on the surface, but the rest of this is just going to be kelp. These hitboxes in the water are all different fish, and some drown sometimes. If you're playing version 1.16, you actually have an additional thing that can help you. You see about this range is where the kelp starts disappearing from my vision, depending on where I am. There's actually this slider bar in your video settings called entity distance. And this is actually an item render entity distance. And so if I change this from the default 100 to 500, I can actually see this kelp way further away. It's actually kind of absurd how far away I can see this. So it is literally 5 times further than the default. Now, this seems kind of nice to be able to tell if there's an ocean ravine from this far away. I mean, that's really, really far. However, the gravel trick with the kelp floating to the top is only going to happen when the player enters within their render distance to that area. So if I have a render distance of 20, it's going to happen about this far away from me. If my render distance is smaller because I don't have a great graphics card, not only am I not going to be able to see these floating kelp items, but the gravel will not have been triggered on top of the ravine to float these kelp items to the top anyway. So I would suggest changing your render distance to at least 20 and changing your entity distance to at least 200, 300. Try to play with your graphic settings and see if things lag or don't lag, but this should be able to trigger the gravel kelp interaction in a pretty far range, and also let you see kelp to find magma ravines from pretty far away. All right, well, that's it for the video. This really was a community effort. All this new tech was really a bunch of different people. I want to give a shout out to LSD Gaga for being one of the first people I saw to do ocean ravine portals and really starting all this off. I know Fyro has spent a ton of time on different designs and was the first person I saw use the actual magma blocks to make a portal. I know Weasley had a really cool Flynn's portal design that I saw. Spike Brownie has been working on some portals while mining fatigued. So this is really a collection of a lot of people's efforts. I'm sure I've missed some people, but it's been really cool finding out all this new tech and incorporating it into these new strats. So with that, thank you for watching and have fun with Ocean Ravines. All right, literally as I was uploading this video to YouTube, Fyro uploaded a single gate ocean portal method on his YouTube. So this new tech is coming out fast and it's coming out every day. So I will put a link to this and all new future ocean ravine updates in the description below. Thanks for watching.